Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big ideas.
So let me ask you a question. Can you teach an AI something new without it completely forgetting what it already knows? It sounds simple, but it's a massive challenge in artificial intelligence, and the consequences of getting it wrong can be, well, catastrophic. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll get a handle on this AI amnesia problem. Then we'll look at how folks usually try to fix it. After that, we'll dive into a really cool method called learning without forgetting, see if it actually works, and finally, talk about why it's such a big deal.
Picture this. You have a robot that's a genius at navigating your house. It knows every room, every piece of furniture. Then you teach it to recognize your face. But the next day, you ask it to go to the kitchen and it just stares blankly. It's forgotten everything. That's the problem. When learning more actually makes an AI know less.
Now, this isn't some rare glitch. It's a fundamental part of how many AIs learn. It's so common, it has this dramatic name, catastrophic forgetting. Basically, when you train a network on a new task, you risk it completely wiping the slate clean on an old one.
So what's actually happening under the hood? Well, an AI's knowledge is just a whole bunch of connections between its artificial neurons. To learn a new skill, like Spanish, it has to change and tweak all those connections. But in the process, it can just overwrite the very connections that held its old knowledge, like English. Poof, gone.
Okay, so if this is such a huge problem, what have people been doing about it? How do you add new skills without giving your AI amnesia? Well, for the longest time, it's really been a story about painful trade-offs.
You've basically got two main camps. In one corner, you have feature extraction. This is the safe route. You kind of freeze the AI's brain so it can't forget. But that really holds it back from learning the new thing well. In the other corner, you've got fine-tuning. Here, you let the AI learn freely. It gets great at the new skill, but you guessed it, it trashes its old knowledge.
And this table just lays the dilemma bare, right? Look at fine-tuning. Great for new tasks, but bad for old ones. The one that looks perfect, joint training, has a massive catch. You need all the original data to do it, and a lot of the time, that's just not possible. And that's the gap our focus today, Lelic WF, tries to fill, getting the best performance without needing that old data.
So, this brings us to the main event, a really clever approach from a couple of researchers called Learning Without Forgetting, or LWF for short.
The goal here is so smart and so simple. The researchers basically asked, how can we get the absolute best of both worlds? How do we learn the new thing perfectly, hold on to the old thing, and do it all without needing to lug around those giant, clunky, original datasets?
So how in the world does it work? It's genius, really. You show the AI a new image. Let's say a picture of a corgi. First, it records what the original, untouched network thinks it is. Maybe it says, 70% dog, 20% cat. It saves that answer as a memory. Then, as it learns the correct new label, corgi, it also trains itself to keep producing that old memory. It's using the new data for two things at once, learning the new skill and rehearsing the old one.
Okay, so that sounds incredible on paper. But you know what matters? Does it actually hold up in the real world? Does this whole talking to itself idea actually work? Well, the researchers put it to the test.
Let's look at this one experiment. They took an AI that was an expert at identifying 1,000 different kinds of objects. Then they gave it a new challenge. Learn to identify 200 very specific species of birds. The whole time, the big question was, what's going to happen to its ability to recognize all those original objects? The results were pretty amazing. Using the standard fine-tuning method, the AI's performance on its original job dropped by 3.8%. But with learning without forgetting, the drop was only 1.9%. It literally cut the amnesia in half. It was just so much better at holding on to what it already knew.
So, great, it's better at preventing forgetting. Mission accomplished, right? But that's when they discovered something else. Something totally unexpected.
Get this, LWF didn't just protect the old knowledge better. It actually performed better on the new task, the bird spotting, than the standard method did. By forcing the AI to remember its old tricks, it actually acted as a kind of regularizer. It made the AI a more disciplined, more robust learner overall. How wild is that? So this is more than just a cool academic finding. This kind of breakthrough has massive,
real-world consequences for how we build and manage AI in the future.
I mean, think about it. This means you can update AI systems without needing to hang on to these gigantic, often proprietary or sensitive original data sets. It's way more efficient, it's faster, and as we just saw, it can even lead to better performance. This could honestly change the game and become the new default method for teaching an old AI new tricks.
And this all leads to a really powerful final idea. If we can truly solve this problem of AI amnesia, we open the door to what people in the field call lifelong learning. Imagine an AI that isn't just trained once and then left alone. Imagine a system that can continuously adapt, evolve, and grow with every new experience. Just like we do, but without ever forgetting the important lessons of its past.